Time now for The Real Estate Connection with Stephen Theard, a realtor and certified probate and real estate specialist. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer or a seasoned investor looking to downsize, move up, or refinance, this program is for you.
Our house in the middle of our street. Something tells you that you've got to make the middle of our...
From probate sales to landscape design to home repairs and maintenance, this is your weekly look into all things real estate. Now your host for The Real Estate Connection, Stephen Theard.
Hey everybody, hey everybody, hey everybody, hey everybody, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me today. Here's a great big round of applause for you. Yes. Thank you so much for coming out and spending some time on your Wednesday with me today on another episode of The Real Estate Connection, brought to you by Good Patriot Realty, a salute to home ownership. I want to thank you, sponsor, for sponsoring this show. This is Stephen Theard, your host and real estate broker here in Northern California, California DRE number 017000019. If you have any questions related to real estate related, residential real estate related issues, whether it's investing, selling, or buying, or looking into the value of a property that you may be even inheriting, give me a call, 408-472-0817. Again, 408-472-0817. Again, thank you for joining me today. It's always a pleasure to have you with me as we go and to dive into the world of real estate. And if you don't want to miss any future episodes, send me an email right now at info@realestateconnectionradio.com. Again, that's info at realestateconnectionradio.com with your name and your email address, and I'd be happy to add you to my podcast distribution list. Also, if you just want to go ahead and sign up for the podcast, you can find the Real Estate Connection on Apple Podcasts under the business section, and you can find the Real Estate Connection on Podbean, Podbean, podbean.com. Just search The Real Estate Connection. You should see the logo in the corner with me in the cowboy hat, and it should be very easy to find and sign up. And that way, even if you miss the live feeds, you can catch up later on at your convenience. So without any further ado, we're going to jump in to the program. And today, we're going to talk about the fixer-upper. Now, there's like a whole series or genre of shows based on this concept on home and garden television, and a lot of people that are out in the market have the mind, because they're creative, they want to buy something that they can put their personal touch on. Traditionally, this would also be a less expensive property than something that we call turnkey. And what that really means as far as turnkey is concerned is you put the key in the door, you turn it, unlock it, walk in, and you start living. Because really, you don't need any other, to do any other updates to the house when you buy a turnkey property. You just open the door, walk in, and move right in. But on a fixer-upper, it means it needs to be fixed up. So on today's show, we're going to talk about how to evaluate the true cost of a fixer-upper and whether or not it's something that you should personally get involved in. All right, there's 4 points that we're going to cover, and I have to give credit where credit's due. This was written in an article by a home improvement author by the name of Jamie Wiebe. She's a writer and editor that focuses on home improvement and design, and she previously worked as a web editor for House Beautiful, Elle Decor, and Veranda. So I got a lot of my talking points for today's podcast from this article, and I've added a few of my own touches to it, but it's very good, and it covers all the bases. So let's jump right on in. What are the 4 things you need to know before you purchase the fixer-upper? Now remember, You are looking to purchase a fixer-upper and not a money pit. I don't know if you guys ever saw that show, actually the movie called Money Pit, where a husband and wife bought what they thought was going to be a fixer-upper, and it turned out to just have problem after problem after problem after problem, and they were just dumping tons of cash into this property, and it never was really moving forward, which then caused a lot of stress in the relationship. You do not want to walk into a fixer-upper and have that turn into a money pit for you and your spouse, or you and your loved one either. So this is part of the process, is being careful that you are not running in and buying a fixer-upper. All right, so number one, and I know this sounds obvious, right? Captain Obvious. Number one is evaluate the price. Now, so this is really important. You will see a lot of houses on the market at one price, and then a fixer-upper will pop up. You'll see the condition of it, and it will appear to be less expensive. But you really need to get into the weeds and do the homework and detail analysis to really determine if that house is appropriately priced for what you need to do to it. So don't fall in love too quickly. Make sure the phrase "just needs a little TLC" is actually true. Check to see what similar homes in the neighborhood are selling for. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at the square footage of the property, you're going to look at the location, and then you're going to look at similar homes in the area with the same square footage and see what they have been selling for, and then compare that to the list price that you're looking at. What you may find is that it's maybe 5,000, 15, 20,000 just below what the last turnkey house sold for. And so there really isn't that much of a discount based on maybe what you're going to need to do to the property in order to get it up to speed. So you're going to check for the average condition of similar properties in the neighborhood. You're going to look at the amenities in those homes, the upgrades in those homes, and the curb appeal. So if you're at all feel in over your head conducting this exercise, because it may be the first time that you're buying a house, or maybe even the second or third time, because we don't traditionally, as a society, you don't buy a house every month, right? So you're going to want to probably get a real estate professional involved to help you make that analysis, somebody who's in this arena every single day and what they do for a living. And if you want that to be me, give me a call, Stephen Theard, at 408-472-0817. Again, 408-472-0817. And I can help you walk through this analysis to kind of see whether or not this home is really priced below market for what needs to be done in order for you to buy it with enough room in the budget to do the improvements that you want to do. Okay, so also treat your fixer-upper purchase like a business. Determine your budget based on the market value of homes in the neighborhood. So for instance, if you're finding that all the turnkey properties of a similar square footage, lot size, bedrooms and baths have been selling for $700,000, and this property is listed at $675,000, and then based on what you think you need to put into the house, it's going to cost you more than $25,000, then you're overpaying for the home, because you would then be putting in that $25,000 to get you up to market value for the neighborhood, and then additional money to continue to improve it to get to where it needs to be. And then if that's another $25,000, you're essentially paying $725,000 for the house when a turnkey house was only $700,000. So it's important to do the math on how you approach your fixer-upper purchase, and make sure that it's not only an emotional decision but a business decision to make sure that it pencils. Because even though it's $25,000 under market, if the market's tight and there's a lot of people out there looking for a fixer, you might wind up paying more than list price just to get it, which then means you're really overpaying, right? So be careful. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Be careful in how you determine your expenses for the property. Now, what's number two? You need to start evaluating what improvements are needed, meaning quick projects for a fixer-upper. Now, for my first-time home buyers that are looking for a fixer-upper, I call it the carpet and paint fixer-upper, right? It's something where you can get in there and put in new paint, new carpet, or new flooring. And that's going to bring the house up to speed really fast. And you're going to get a high percentage on the return of your investment. So, meaning you want to get 100% of your project cost back or maybe more when the project is done. So, with carpet and paint, you always are going to get 100%, if not more, of your investment back when you're doing a carpet and paint fixer upper. So I recommend, like I said, for first time buyers, that you do this rehab work before you move into the property, because there's going to be a time when that seller is gone, the house is completely empty, and this is the time to go in and do these quick fix projects. That way you don't have to move your own furniture around after you move in and pull pictures off the walls. So that includes interior paint, new carpet, exterior paint, new hardware, whether they be on the cabinets in the kitchen or in the bathrooms, or new doorknobs or door hardware to bring it up to speed. So if you're going into the house that maybe have been built in the 90s and it's full of brass accents, now's the time to get in there and change out light fixtures, doorknobs, handles, things of that nature. Update lighting as well. I just got ahead of myself. And then two more things I wanted to add that necessarily wasn't in the article. And that is you can add in, now's the time to go in and do baseboards, crown molding, and if this house was built back in the 70s and there's still popcorn on the ceiling, now's the time to have that all scraped off, retextured, and painted while the house is vacant. And these types of projects that I just went through will definitely bring you 100% return on your investment and probably more. So if you're interested in that list and you've missed it, go ahead and give me a call, 408-472-0817. Again, 408-472-0817. Now, some other low-hanging fruit that you may be able to do as well, and that this can be done after you move in, is bring the lawn back. We know we've been living in a drought for a while, so some of these houses have let the lawns go, and you're going to move in and it's gone, and you want to bring it back. Bring back the lawn. That'll increase your curb appeal, which increases your value. Install colorful plants or drought-resistant plants if you don't want to put a lawn back in, and then cut back and trim overgrown plants in the yard. Because typically what a fixer is just somebody who's had a lot of deferred maintenance in the house because they didn't have money or time to take care of it. And so they decided to sell the house as is without doing these updates. And so it's an opportunity for you to come in and pay a little bit less for the house and then take advantage of that and put in some money and gain a lot of equity and increase the value of the home. But again, you have to do the math. Now, projects that you want to evaluate versus the price of the home are kitchen and bathroom remodeling for the following reasons. One, cash outflow. How much cash do you have in the bank after buying the house, right? And will you have to go into more debt in order to do a kitchen remodel? And then it may also require hiring professionals, which then is an additional expense to you. So before you jump in to a fixer and you're thinking, I'm gonna gut the kitchen, gut the bathroom, that's a big deal. It's a big project and it takes a lot of time, takes cash, and there's unforeseen issues once you start ripping out cabinets and plumbing. Okay, so what's number 3? What projects that require hiring a professional that add instant equity? Okay, so we've gone through the low-hanging fruit that you can either do yourself or hire a professional to do that aren't as bad. And some other projects where you might need to hire a professional where you're going to get 100% or more return on your investment would be adding a new roof, right? That can bring 109% of your cost back to you. Hardwood floors also, and then insulation. Believe it or not, adding insulation can bring value, not necessarily because people are going to see the value if you go to resell it, but because it will reduce your utility costs. So if you're in a house that has poor insulation and before you move in, you kind of checked around and the inspection report says that the insulation is thin in the attic or it may not be in the walls, now's the time to get that done before you move into the house. Insulate everything really well. Make sure all the seals are in place and caulking is done. And that way you can save utility money after you move in, which saves you costs of living, which increases the value of your home. These projects all have a high return on your investments, And projects with a lower return on investment, like kitchen models, may not be off the table either. It's just whether or not you're set up to take advantage of it. My advice is don't let the tail wag the dog, meaning if the home is purchased at a low enough price, the enjoyment factor may outweigh the lower return on investment for a larger remodel project, right? So for some reason, you get the deal of the century. The house, all the houses in the neighborhood are priced turnkey at 700,000, and you pick up the house for say 550,000, right? At that point, adding a new kitchen may make a lot of sense because you have enough cushion between what you purchased the house for and what the fair market value is in the neighborhood in order to do a project like that, where even if you don't get 100% of your investment back, you will still improve the property and have enough cushion in that as well. So also, what's number 4? So this is probably one of the most important things. You need to evaluate your ability to deal with disruption. All right. 1, are you a patient person? 2, does chaos and disruption drive you absolutely crazy? Do you have a young family? Are there small children underfoot? Okay, so whether you are a do-it-yourself person or hire a pro person, you must evaluate this question within yourself. I will tell you, based on my experience of living through a bathroom remodel, and it was just me and my wife in the house, there's a lot of dust, okay? And there's always delays. So if you only have 2 bathrooms, right, and you gutted a bathroom and you only have one, and you have a husband, a wife, and a couple of kids, you're all relegated to one bathroom. That can get old really fast, okay? Because everyone seems to want to need to use it at the same time. It also affects getting ready for work in the morning and getting the kids out of the house for school, right? And then there's all kinds of dust and in the air. Everything in your house is covered in dust all the time. No matter what you do, taping off the bathroom and all that other stuff, it's just a constant battle. And when you have kids running around touching walls and things and just going nuts, it can drive you crazy, especially if you're, having to deal with that in your relationship with your significant other or with your children. And if you're the type of person that just doesn't have a lot of patience for things that come up out of the clear blue sky or things that go wrong, or you're not used to disruption, buying a fixer-upper may not be something that you want to necessarily get involved with just from your own personal perspective, because the last thing you want to do is throw a lot of turmoil into your relationships with your loved ones in order to go through the process. Now, if you are okay with it and you do that honest assessment, then go for it, right? That's a good thing to do. A bathroom remodel can take 2 to 3 weeks. Honestly, I would budget a month, right, for a bathroom, or maybe more. And if it's a kitchen, 2 months. I don't care what your contractor says, is there's going to be issues. And especially with supply chain issues going on right now in the United States and being able to get things from hardware stores and the cost of materials and contractors being really busy, they'll go ahead and sign the contract and come in and start doing the work and make all kinds of promises. But then, they don't show up, or they're late, or they say they've got to delay a week, or for whatever reason, these things tend to just stretch out. So go in with your eyes wide open and know that these things are going to be taking at least 20% longer than what they're quoting. Cost overruns as well. Be prepared to have extra money laying around for a contingency in case there are issues going through these remodel projects. I would say at least 20%, okay? It's very important because stuff's going to pop up. You open up a wall, and then you might find like a wood member that has water damage that needs to be replaced because it's a structural issue. Or you go to do plumbing and you find that there's a leak that's been going on that you didn't know about, and you got to replace some boards. Or your subfloor in your bathroom is weak because there's been a leak from the toilet that you couldn't see until you pulled up the floor. I mean, there's all sorts of other things, and it usually revolves around water or wood-destroying pest issues or carpenter ants or some sort of pest. It's just things that are hidden that slowly erode over time that you can't see until you start tearing things apart. And then that will slow the project down too, because you might have been set to install the vanity, and then all of a sudden you've got to do repair work before you can install that vanity. So these are the things that you have to be careful of. All right. So also mistakes will happen, and you may have to take something out and put something back in. Make sure you are ready to handle it mentally and physically and financially before you jump into anything. All right. So that's it. Okay. If you have any questions about your desire to purchase a fixer-upper and have a specific fact pattern that you'd like to discuss with me, give me a call, 408-472-0817. Again, 408-472-0817. I'd be happy to help you. Stephen Theard with Good Patriot Realty, California DRE number 017-00019. And I'm going to leave you with this, especially as it relates to remodels or fixer-uppers. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. Have faith. Step out in faith. You will be taken care of. Put your trust in God. He promises to prosper you and not to hurt you. That's just how he operates. All right. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. God bless your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you next week on another episode of The Real Estate Connection with your host and broker, Stephen Theard. All right. We'll talk to you later, guys. Here's the outro.
This has been The Real Estate Connection with Realtor and Certified Probate and Real Estate Specialist, Stephen Theard. Licensed Cal DRE number 0170019. For more information on this program, visit realestateconnectionradio.com. To contact Stephen directly, call 408-472-0817 or email info@realestateconnectionradio.com. And be sure to tune in next week at this time for The Real Estate Connection.